This little book taught me so much on how to stop limiting beliefs in order to unlock my dream life. I have read it and reread it at least 7 times, and every single time I feel a shift in the way I think and show up every single day. So I want to talk about the most valuable lessons that I've learned from this book in case you may not have time to read it, or you just want a quick little summary in hopes that it will transform your life as well. Before we get started, hi everyone, my name is Mariana Solis. I am a very small content creator. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I promise that by the end of this video, you will learn a thing or two that will transform your life, because I am all about self-improvement and personal development. So society teaches us what is good and what is bad. Are we ugly or are we pretty? Are we smart or are we dumb? Is working in retail bad and being a doctor good? All of these opinions and interpretations of what's good and bad stem from what society has inflicted onto us since childhood. Because we've been judged since we were small and we've seen others get judged. Because of that, we've developed our own internal judge, that little voice in your head that is always criticizing you. And it's so easy to punish ourselves when we feel like we are not good enough. But this state of never-ending judgment is detrimental to our well-being, because we form a personal hell, one filled with overthinking, fear of taking risks, and one where we consume ourselves with limiting beliefs. But we can escape this personal hell and shift into a reality full of happiness and peace by making these 4 agreements to ourselves. The first one is to be impeccable with your word. If we think about it, words are how we create our realities. If we say, oh, today is such a beautiful day. I love the gloominess. I love the cold. I love the clouds. I love that it's raining. Then we're going to perceive our reality as good. We're like, yes, it is a beautiful day. However, if we're like, I hate the rain, I hate the clouds, I miss the sun, today is a horrible day. Well, it's going to be a horrible day for us because that is what we are telling ourselves. And then when you repeatedly judge yourself for making a mistake, you're engaging in self-rejection. And when you agree to be impeccable with your words, you are agreeing to stop punishing yourself and others for past choices or current choices. Imagine like you have an annoying boss. They're always criticizing you. Nothing is ever good enough for them. And then you fuck up one time. For months, every single time you're working, they're on your shoulder telling you, oh, remember how bad you did? Remember you fucked up so bad? Well, that's what we are doing to ourselves. When we are constantly talking to ourselves in a way that is like bringing us down. So don't judge yourself. Don't talk badly about yourself, or don't talk badly to yourself. Like, you deserve the utmost respect, the utmost positive reinforcement. So give yourself that. Because the treatment that we give to ourselves is the same way that we are going to allow a treatment from another person. Let's say I'm always saying, I'm to this, I'm to that, and then I get in a fight with my boyfriend and he's very mad. He's like, oh, you're to this, you're to that, you're blah, blah, blah. And I don't even want to say it, right? But like, think about anything negative, your appearance, the way you are as a person, like anything, could be anything at all. Well, I'm gonna probably be like, oh, well, I guess he is a little bit right. Like, I can be like that. Like, yeah, I probably am like that, because I'm always telling myself, yes, you're to this, you're to that, you're not enough. And I'm going to accept that from my boyfriend, and I'm not going to stand up for myself, right? I'm going to be like, yeah, he was just mad. Like, yeah, I know I am like that. I can see how I am like that. Like, he was just mad. It's fine. And I'm going to let it slide, because I'm so used to receiving that same treatment from myself, versus if I'm always uplifting myself, I'm always like, yep, you look hot. You are hot. You are confident as fuck. You would be a prize to anyone. Anyone is lucky to talk to you. When my boyfriend comes to me, he's mad at me. He's like, you're all these negative things. I'm going to be like, whoa, no, I'm not. Like, you don't deserve to be talking to me like that. Like, bring it down. And if that's how you feel about me, then you can go, because I'm not like that. But it's not enough to not judge ourselves. We also have to learn to not judge other people, because it comes right back to us. When you learn to judge other people, you start judging yourself in that same manner. Let's say you always point out how much weight a person has gained, or how clumsy they are, or how they're always messing up and oh, it can never be me. And then when you do mess up, or when you gain a little bit of weight, or whatever it is, like you're gonna feel like so being impeccable with your word is just being cautious about the judgments that you are making. The second law is to not take anything too personally. Most of the time, people's actions stem from their own troubles, and we have to remind ourselves that it is rarely about us. So when I was working at Panda Express, I hated it. I hated the management. They would literally give me a headache every single day. I would go to the restroom and I would cry and then pull myself together and then go back to work. It was horrible. I was so depressed, so angry at the world, because I hated my job and I spent a lot of my life in that place. So when customers came in, let's say they took a little bit too long to order, or they had a special request, I would make such a big deal about it. I would be the absolute worst person ever to them. After my shift, when I was reflecting, like I was like, why the fuck was I being such an ass? Never had to do with the person, right? Because who cares if they took too long to order? Who cares if they want a special request, right? Like, who cares? And I would just make it such a big deal. And I hope that person, or none of the people that had to deal with my wrath, ever took it personally. But let's say they did, and they were like, oh my God, I'm probably so annoying. Oh my God, why am I so indecisive? Like, why do I always have to take so long to order? Right? Let's say they were taking that personally, but truly, like, it had nothing to do with them. Like, it was all just me. It was just because I was mad at the world, because I was stuck in that place that I hated, because I had to deal with my managers. So everything was about me. I was not being a bitch to them because of their actions. I was just being a because I was so unhappy in my world. And when you start taking everything personally, you become more susceptible to other people's beliefs, opinions, thoughts, and doubts. For example, my mom, she always wanted me to go to college, and I'm going to college and work at a fancy 9 to 5, right? Obviously, I'm posting on YouTube. Like, I want to be a content creator. Working for somebody else is not my dream. I started a business, and I would like to, be a content creator and grow my business, and that is what I want to do. But she is always like, no, like, that's not going to work out. Like, no, just focus on your degree. Oh my God, you're wasting your time. And if I were to take that personally, and if I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right, she's probably right, she's lived longer in this world, like, she's probably right, I should quit and I should just focus on my 9 to 5 and end up in a job that I'm most likely not even going to enjoy. That would be the outcome if I took her opinions personally, if I just accepted them as the truth. But you have to question how somebody's world view and experiences could shape the opinions that they have. If I look at it like my mom, she is an immigrant. She didn't graduate from high school, so she never really had a job. So she craves like stability. And that's why she is forcing that onto me versus me on the other hand. Well, I grew up in a country where there's so much opportunities. I feel like in my generation, like, entrepreneurship is seen as like the ultimate goal, or like a really good goal to have. So I have to take that into consideration. And so when you realize this, and when you get better at questioning other people's beliefs, you will become more confident in yourself and in your decisions and in your goals and aspirations, because you realize that the only opinions that can actually shape your reality are your own. The third agreement: don't make assumptions. Making assumptions can lead to miscommunication and unnecessary drama. If you think about it, assumptions often stem from our own imagination. So make sure that you are never taking an assumption that you make as the truth. And if you can, make sure you are communicating to get an efficient answer to your question. For example, I used to have like the worst social anxiety. Literally anytime I would hear people laughing or giggling, whatever it was, right? Because I used to get bullied. So I always thought, oh shit, like, they're laughing at me. And I would be alone in public and I would start getting like an anxiety attack because I'm like, oh my god, they're laughing, they must be laughing at me, something must be wrong with me. And that was me making that assumption, and that led to so much unnecessary drama in my world because I was over here freaking out because I was like, oh my god, I probably look stupid, or oh, I probably look like a fool or like a loner or whatever it was. And it's like the whole time they probably were laughing at like a joke they made, a conversation that they were having, maybe something else completely unrelated to me happened, and that's why they were giggling. I created that drama for myself for literally nothing. It was not the truth. I have BPD, and when you have BPD, you have like this fear of abandonment. So whenever I was in a relationship, I would just assume that my partner was losing interest, and then I would cry about it and then leave that relationship because I was scared of being abandoned. I could have easily just been like, hey, are you still into me? And I could have saved myself from that drama, that heartbreak. I didn't know. I was just assuming that they were uninterested because maybe they were taking too long to reply, or maybe they weren't taking me out as much. Maybe they were just struggling financially or struggling with other personal problems and it had nothing to do with me, but I just assumed that they were uninterested and I ran with it. In the same way, don't assume that somebody gets you, that somebody knows what you want. If you want something, ask for it. If you want a promotion, ask your boss for a promotion and tell them why you deserve it. If you want the princess treatment with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever it is, ask for it. Tell them, this is how I want to be treated and this is how I'm expecting to be treated. And if you can't do that for me, then that's fine. I'll move on to somebody else who will, but this is what I want. Don't just assume that everybody knows it already. The fourth and final agreement: always do your best. If you always provide your utmost effort and show up as a best person that you can be at that given moment, you can never feel guilty, or you can never judge yourself or criticize yourself, because you know that at any given moment, whatever it was that you were doing, you were trying your best and you were doing your best. And that doesn't mean that your best is always going to look like you crossing everything off your to-do list, you always getting a promotion or a raise. Your best is not going to look the same every single day. Sometimes you're going to be too tired. Sometimes you're going to feel drained or depressed, or you're going to get sick. Whatever it is, but as long as you are giving your best, your all, in everything that you do, you are never going to be able to tell yourself anything. This was just a really short and quick summary of what I learned from this book, but truly, like, the way the author talks about all of these agreements, he goes in depth into all of these agreements, and it really just transformed my life. Every time I am reading this book, somebody comes up to me and it's like, oh, that's a really good book, or oh, that book changed my life. And like, I agree, I have to reread it every single time I'm feeling a little bit like, oh, you know, being like a little victim, like, oh, why is this happening to me? Or, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I read this book, because it will literally kill all of your limiting beliefs. So if you haven't read it, I highly suggest that you do, but I hope this video gave you some perspectives and some insight on how to kill limiting beliefs, because you deserve to be living in an amazing reality. And thank you so much for clicking on this video. I know I probably didn't have the most amount of views or the most amount of likes, and my channel does not have the most amount of subscribers, but it really means a lot that you gave me a shot and you made it to the end of this video. Comment down below how you kill your limiting beliefs, and also comment what your goal is right now. I really want to build a good sense of community here, where we're all just each other's accountability partners, where we're all just hyping each other up and killing all the negativity in the world with just like this little space of positivity. So don't forget to like this video, it would help me out so much. Subscribe to my channel so that we could start making a little community of our own. And until next time, bye!